It's not audible, sir. Okay, okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Now it is okay. Sir, audible, sir. Okay, okay. It's okay, fine. Okay, namaskaram to all. So today is the second class. So in the last class, we discussed, I think I am audible to all. So we discussed what is Yoga Sutra and how it was codified and who composed. Then we talked about the first sutra in detail. So it is necessary to understand each and every sutra in detail, and that would only help you to answer any questions being asked by the UGC. And that is why they ask the multiple choice questions. How can you recognize the right answer for multiple choice questions? When you have a good understanding about the Yoga Sutra. Right. So in the last class, I discussed in detail the first sutra, that is Atha Yoga Anushasana. So Atha has 4 interpretations. And 4 interpretations also I discussed. Okay, it denotes the state of the mind. Then it denotes Athikari, who is the right Athikari for each and every padas. And Atha denotes the meaning, auspiciousness or Mangala. This is what I have discussed. So today we are going to discuss the second sutra, and it is very mandatory, compulsory to understand the second sutra. And if you cannot understand the second sutra, you cannot understand the whole Patanjala Yoga Sutra. And because it is the pivot of this sutra, the main sutra, what it says, Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodhaga. This is what it says. And Patanjali was the first, a very great, he has given a great scientific explanation or scientific definition. He never said that yoga is union. Okay. So as I told you in the previous class, so there are 3 roots for yoga. Samyogo, Yuj Samyogo iti yoga, that is unite. Please put off the mic. Srividya, you are on the line.
Yes, Master.
Okay. Yuj Samyogo iti yoga, union. Then Yuj Samadho iti yoga, it is a process of concentration. And the third is Yuj Samyamane iti yoga. What is Samyamane? Control. And most of the definition we have under this category, Samyamane. But mostly when we do talk about yoga, we talk that Yujyade Anena iti yoga, Yujyade Anena iti yoga. Yes, it is union. for some purposes. The Vedantic perspectives of view, it is of course union with the Jivatma and Paramatma. But at a practical or scientific view, this is not like this. It is some yamane, means control. And Patanjali was the first great yogi who has given a very scientific definition. Yoga is nothing, it is chitta vritti nirodha. Again, what is chitta vritti nirodha? It is controlling or restraining the mental modifications, not stopping. Many of the people think that the mental modification should be stopped. Then a good sleep may be a good yoga. Or you may take some drugs and you sleep. Nothing will be in the mind. And that would be a yoga. No, it is not like that. Right? So, it is mental modification, control of mental modifications. Then we should know what is chitta. Okay. For that, we should have some basic knowledge of Sankhya Yoga, Sankhya philosophy. As I told you, Patanjala Yoga Sutra is an offshoot of Sankhya Yoga. So it comes out of the Sankhya Yoga. If Sankhya Yoga is the theoretical concept of yoga, then Patanjala Yoga Sutra is the practical concept of yoga. This is the difference. And the elements, the creation of the elements are more or less same, except one attribute, that is Ishvara. Otherwise, everything, there is no substantial difference between these two philosophies. That is why whenever we say, we combine Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika like that. Okay, fine. So, what it says that there are two entities and they are eternal also. Nobody knows when these two phenomena were created. Nobody knows. Like energy. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So it says that there is no need of God for creation of everything what we would see. For that, the two concepts are enough. What are the two metaphysical concepts? One is the Purusha, and Purusha is the pure state of consciousness, and other one is the Prakriti. And Prakriti is the matter, unmanifested form of matter. You have to understand this very, very, very clearly. Otherwise, you cannot understand what is the deep meaning of yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Okay. And Prakriti is the unmanifested form of matter. It is eternal. Nobody knows. And what does Prakriti means? Unmanifested form. Pra means before. Kriti means creation. What it was before creation of the universe, we see it is the Prakriti. A very great scientific explanation. In Nyaya and Vaisheshika, they limited the ultimate reality of a substance to an atom. But Sankhya said no, it is more subtle than or subtler than an atom. What it was before the creation, that is the Prakriti. What it was before the creation, that is why it is the unmanifested form of Prakriti. And what is its nature? It is the matter. And it is unconscious. It cannot move, but it functions, it works when the pure consciousness is reflected upon Prakriti by some chances. So there is no need to explain all this theory here. Then what happens? The Prakriti is made up of the three gunas, Samyana, Guna, Vasta. All the three gunas. Okay, the Sattva Guna, that is illuminations, the knowledge. Okay. And the Rajoguna, it is the activity or motion. And the Tamoguna, it is the inertia. Okay, inertia or the mass. And these three psychological attributes, Prakriti was, the unmanifested state of Prakriti was created. Samyana, Gunavastha. All the three gunas were in balanced state. Then what happened? One day, the consciousness of the reflection of the consciousness from the Purusha falls upon the Prakriti, then the first evolvent. There is a difference between evolutes and evolvent. The first or the product, the Mahat, according to Sankhya philosophy, and here instead of Mahat, Patanjali used the Chitta. It is born. Since it is born out of Prakriti, Chitta has also the same attributes of or the qualities of the three gunas. Right. And what is Chitta is composed of? And Chitta is composed of Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankar, I-ness. That is why in most of the book you see that Chitta is mind stuff. Means there is some combination in it. And these three combinations make up the Chitta. Or the Chitta makes the mind. Okay. And what happens? Another thing. How the vrittis are formed. So what Patanjali says that whenever we do any action, either through the andhakaranas. What are the andhakaranas? The andhakaranas are Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankar. And Ahankar is not the ego here. It is the I-ness faculty. Okay. And Manas is the recording faculty, but it doesn't know what it is. And the Buddhi is the discriminating faculty. It discriminates as it is a flower, it is a red flower, it is that one, this one. Mind can only perceive, and the Buddhi, it makes the cognition, the right exact perception. This is the difference between the mind and the Buddhi, intellect. And I as the person understand it is a flower. So the Chitta is made up of, the Chitta composes these three elements, Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankar. And how the Chittavrittis are formed. Okay, after this I will show you the slide. It will be very interesting so that it is very easy for me. How the Chittavrittis are formed. What Patanjali even in Bhagavad Gita says that we do many actions or karmas either through the andhakarana means Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara, or through the Bahirkarana. What are the Bahirkarana, Bahyakarana? The 5 Jnanendriyas and the 5 Karmendriyas. So whatever we do with these faculties, karma, they never goes away. They are accumulated or deposited or stored in the Chitta, a form of samskaras. And this is the samskaras. And samskaras are the imprints of the karma in the previous birth and this birth, what we are doing at every moment. At every moment. It is something like that, a CD. This cannot be erased. Once it is written, it is written. Okay. So, if since it cannot be erased, the CD can be thrown away. It is like that. It never goes out. It stores in the Chitta in the form of samskara. So you have to understand the deep meaning of samskaras. It is the imprints of the action what we do. Every action has action and reaction. Action and reaction. Maybe the action may be good, the action may be bad. Okay, the samskaras. And this storage, the imprints that makes up the samskaras. And from the samskaras, the vasanas comes. Patanjali says in the 4th chapter that vasanas are also very latent. It is also eternal. It is very difficult to remove the vasanas. So vasanas comes out of what? From the samskaras. When the samskara is there, one's personality depends upon one samskara. That is why we say that see his samskara. Okay. And samskara may be sometimes good, sometimes bad. And vasanas also sometimes good and sometimes bad. It depends upon the samskaras or the nature of karma we do in our life. So from the samskaras, what happens, the through vasanas are subtle desires, latent. We don't know how the vasanas are coming out. So what are the sources of vasana? It is a samskara. So psychologically, it is the unconscious mind actually. What Gustav Jung said, and you used a very good unconscious mind, and that is nothing but the rational or collective unconscious mind. So from that mind, from that samskaras, what happens? The vasanas comes out. And when vasana comes out, again we do action. And that action again becomes a karma. Okay. Then the karma again goes back to samskara. And from samskara again go to what? The vasana. So it is the vicious circle of the karma is going on. So then what actually does it? Does this activity in our chit, the chitta becomes restless. So we are unable to understand the real nature of ourselves. So Patanjali says that the chitta vrittis are to be controlled. So this is the meaning of yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Again, the nirodha means, but what nirodha means? Nirodha means not stop, control. And that is why yesterday I told you, there are many restricted areas. Okay, no entry, but entries are restricted to the persons who are authorized. So Patanjali says that when you practice this Yoga Sutra, okay, there are many practices. Then what happens? A Viveka Khyadi, a kind of knowledge will come to you. Then only those who wanted, only that vritti or only that thing will go into your mind, the chitta. So everything culminates in positivity. So we will be able to understand ourselves, what is the nature of, the real nature of ourselves. So it is very necessary to control the chitta vrittis. That is why Patanjali says that yoga is not union here. Yoga is something that is the mental modifications, the mental thoughts, feelings, and emotions are to be controlled. Otherwise, the mind becomes restless. This is the meaning. I hope everybody understood. So let me share the screen. Then we'll be able to understand this. Okay. Yes. And this is the sutra. Okay. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. I have already discussed. And Swami Vivekananda has given an excellent commentary on it. He said that yoga is restraining the mind system. Means the manas buddhi, the I-ness, from taking various forms, because the mind cannot think a formless form. And each and every thoughts and emotions are stored in the form of forms. Mind has the chitta has no shape, like water has no shape. And how does the water take shapes? So when you pour the water into a particular vessel, okay, then it makes up a shape. So in the same way, the chitta makes many shapes, and that we do, we perceive, we cognate in every day, or the samskara we have. So everything are stored in forms or images and symbols. And these countless, numberless forms, what happens? Some may be good and some may be not good. And all these things, what happens? It creates a restlessness. So Swami Vivekananda, he himself wrote a good commentary on Patanjala Yoga Sutra, named as Raja Yoga, because in his Chicago speech, he proclaimed that this is the king of yoga, and after that it is known as Raja Yoga. Okay. So the Nirodha is a restricted area. And when the mind is free from the chitta vrittis, okay, or thoughts are there, but they are not disturbing us. And that is why Patanjali said that even the vrittis are klishta and aklishta. And if you understand in this way, Patanjali Yoga Sutra is very, very, very beautiful. Otherwise, it is very difficult because everything is written in Sanskrit. When we are confused, we are unable to understand what it actually says. You see, it is a calm and quiet lake. Okay, calm and quiet pond or lake. Okay, see, it is very calm. Even the shadows are there, but the shadows are not moving. Vrittis are there, maybe some vrittis are there, but they are not disturbing us. Then what happens if you put a stone in the pond? Then what happens? The ripples begins in the form of circular ripples. That is why it is named as vritti, vrittaya, vritti. It is vritta. And the vritti, this is one. And imagine that the whole world is a pond. So whatever you think, the ripples occurs where the pond is extended. So it is there, it never goes away. And this is the meaning of the calm mind and the vrittis. And this vrittis makes the chitta a restlessness. So it is very necessary to control the mental modifications. So this I have already discussed about it. Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara, it is recording faculty, discriminating faculty, and the I-ness faculty. And it is born from Prakriti also, I discussed. And these three, Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankara are called Antakaranas. And the Chitta makes up the mind. And Chitta is the sum total of all the three states of mind, conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. So hence Chitta is an internal instrument for acquiring knowledge through Manas and Jnanendriyas. Then Vritti, yes, I already discussed what Vritti is. Then Chitta, this also have discussed, it has no shape, it takes shape in the form of forms, images, and symbols. And you know that languages of our subconscious mind is images. Suppose you think about a car, the choice of the color, color choice may be different to different people. With that color, the car comes. Okay, not in the written form, CAR. So there are many, many cars, maybe good cars and bad cars in our Chitta. Okay, the good cars may not be disturbing us, but the bad cars create restlessness to the Chitta, no doubt at all. Okay, so images, hence it responds with images. And if you know the technique to create certain images, okay, the chakra images, chakra symbols, and the yandras, and the reverberation of the mantras, and some symbols, Om symbols, etc. If you make an imagery of that, okay, if you make an imagery of that, definitely you'll be able to remove the negative forms, the negative imagery from the Chitta gradually. And that is why Patanjali advises, gives many techniques, psycho-spiritual techniques in Yoga Sutras. So when we talk about the mantra, he employs the concept of Ishvara. And what is the nature of Ishvara? Tasya Vajaga Pranava. Then he says that you have to meditate upon the reverberation of the Pranava. Prakarshena Prachayate. Okay. Reverberation means the after effect sound of that. Suppose when you create the chant the Om, then there will be no humming. Still, host, you please put off the mic. Who is?
Yes,
Please cooperate with me. All the participants are requested to please put off their mic, because very important thing I am discussing it. And what my desire, it is according to the grace and blessing from my Guru, Swami Niranjanananda Saraswati. So I bow my Guru, and I was initiated to yoga from by Swami Niranjananda Saraswati of Bihar School of Yoga. And I did my post-graduation in MS Psychology from there. And the instruction was, I am not supposed to, I have to propagate the science of yoga across the world. And that is why I made a strenuous effort to make the people understand what is the nature of Yoga Sutras. So please don't disturb in between. It is my request. I hope everybody understood. Okay. So, and you know that I am discussing the practices also and how you would be able to make an imagery. And Tradaka is one of the best practice. Every day, if you do Tradaka, okay, you are looking at the flame, the tiny flame, and after that, sometimes tears may come from some people, and some people may have fatigue. And after that, when you close your eyes, even for a second, the flame comes around the Bhumadhya. And that is the after image effect. After image effect. It is called after image effect. So the Tradaka will teach us you how to make an imagery. So when you learn the technique of imagery, okay, then you can make an imagery of Muladhara Yendra, Swadhisthana Yendra, Anahata Yendra. And all the Yendra has a direct connection with the self-development. This is not I am saying. And this is well established by the great psychologist, the disciple of Sigmund Freud, called Gustav Jung. And he wrote a very good book about Kundalini Yoga. Okay, fine. So yogic imagery techniques, what happened? It empowers the subconscious mind. And subconscious mind is the reservoir of memory, as well as the anxieties, phobias, fear, etc. So if you know how to employ this positive imagery, maybe the chakra imagery symbols or your vibration of the mantra properly, then what happened? The many other negative forms, as Vivekananda said, and what happens? That negative forms will go away gradually from your chitta. And that is why Patanjali says that there are many techniques, some psychological techniques, some pratipaksha bhavana, thinking of the opposite. And actually, I will tell you, I'm a psychologist, and I know a good idea about psychology. But Patanjali Yoga Sutra is a very great depth psychology. And sometimes the modern psychology, and that is why Jung said, where psychology ends, yoga begins. That is what he said. Okay. So please don't study Patanjali Yoga Sutra only for the purpose of examination. You try to understand what it is. Okay, fine. So this I have already talked about. It is like a CD writing. Now you see the vasanas, the vasanas. For example, for vasana, sometimes some bad incident happens when we react. Okay. And after that, we think that, no, I am not supposed to say this. I was too wrong. My behavior was not proper. You say yourself, but from they came. It is from me only. From where? From the vasanas. Now you introspect yourself. So those things were not supposed to stay, even they are coming outside because of the nature of vasana is like that. So vasanas to be controlled. And from vasana, the chitta vrittis are there. So we have to make a good samskara, good vasanas. And when the vasanas, when you try to make good by practice, important practice described in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, what happens? Desirable behavior or good behavior will come out. Socially accepted behavior will come out. And that is why Patanjali said that, no, you please go and do asanas. He never said. He said, yama, because man is a social animal. And since living in the society, it is necessary to have virtuous behavior, the virtues, ethics and morals. And that is why he said, yama must be practiced. So this Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is more mind-body yoga. And some people, it may not be easy. And that is why Hatha Yoga Pratipika Satmarama said that, okay, it is body-mind yoga. And he said that Hatha Yoga is nothing but for Raja Yoga. Kevalam Raja Yogaya Hatha Yoga Vidya Upatishyade. So you should know the art of integrating these two. Okay. So such vasana, such behaviors of action comes because of, it depends upon the nature of vasana we have. So this vicious circle of the karma I already told about you. So again, this I have discussed, and that is why Patanjali defined yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. When you understand this, what is samskara and what is vasana, and what are the karmas you do through the antakarana and the bahirkarana, and through the jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, all have an effect. Maybe positive effect, maybe negative effect. Everything we do in our life, even in the previous life or the past life, okay, what they never goes away, they never leaves us. They are stored in the chitta in the form of samskaras. I hope samskara is clear. And from samskara, the samskaras are the sources of vasanas, and they are also very latent. We don't know. They are very latent, and they activates, and they are the activators for or motivating or stimulating us for doing an action. That action again becomes a karma, and karma again go back to samskaras, then vasanas, karma, and this is the vicious circle of the karmas. So they are to be controlled. Otherwise, we are unable to understand our real nature. That is why in the next sutra, Patanjali says that, and actually Chittavritti is mainly eliminating the Shadribhus: Kama, anger, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mata, Matsarya. All these six ripus or the enemies are uprooted, be rooted out. Okay. Then very, very necessary for controlling the Chittavrittis. So that is why Patanjali says that Tada Drishtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. When you will be able to control the Chittavrittis by understanding the samskaras and vasanas, there are many techniques that comes after. Then what happened? Tada Drishtuhu, the Drishta, the seer. Swarupe Avasthanam means resting its own true nature. It is because of the Purusha, the pure consciousness. Even Padmanabhan is raising the hand. Padmanabhan is talking. Padmanabhan is seeing. I am thinking. I am perceiving. I make the cognition, everything. It is not because of the my strength of my mind or the chitta. And chitta has only apparent consciousness. Apparent consciousness means we feel that it has consciousness. No. It is only apparent consciousness, and it works because of the consciousness falls upon from the Purusha upon the chitta. And chitta later understands through a process, say through a process of knowledge, and that knowledge is called a viveka khyadi. It is free from pancha kleshas. Then it understands that, oh, chitta is not actually conscious, and it becomes consciousness, consciousness only because of the reflection of consciousness from the Purusha. Then chitta goes and dissolves in the Prakriti, and a separation is there. Okay, and that separation means the Purusha abides in his true nature, and this is what Patanjali called the Kaivalya or Kevala Bhava. So it is very, 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 very important to understand the second sutra, Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. So when you will be able to control the Chitta Vrittis by many techniques, then what would be happen? Tada Drishtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. You would be able to realize the seer. Okay. For example, seer and seen. The mobile is the scene, the object, and I am the seer. I, as the seer, never changes. The mobile changes. Maybe a Samsung mobile and maybe a iPhone mobile. Okay, and maybe a something like that. Maybe a pen. All the objects are goes on changing. Okay, and these are called Vikriti. Okay, but the seer never changes. I hope everybody understood it. But we are not trying to understand this great consciousness because of avidya. And avidya again is not ignorance. And most of the book they have written ignorance. No, avidya is not knowing the knowledge emptiness. And this is avidya. Okay. And that is why Patanjali said Nirodha. And for Nirodha, Patanjali is very good. Nirodha means not stopping. It is, yes, whatever we require, that is to be entered in the chitta. And what are the techniques we will discuss one by one after this? Abhyasa, Vairagya, Abhyamta, Nirodha. So Abhyasa and Vairagya are the two tools. First. And what is Abhyasa, the nature of Abhyasa? We will discuss in the coming sutras. And Vairagya means detachment. It is of two kinds, Aparavairagya and Paravairagya. Then Ishvara Pranidhan. Okay. Then meditation on Ega Tattva. And Chitta Prasadana, Maitrikarana Evaja. Then control of breath, Pranayama. These are all the techniques, very psychological techniques by observing sense experience. It is mindfulness. Okay, it is mindfulness by inner illumination in the center of the chest, Anagata Chakra. And by fixing the one, those who are free from attachment. It may be an object, it may be a person. Suppose you are meditating upon Vivekananda. Vivekananda never had attachment. And such object and such person, Krishna Dvaipayana. Vyasa is called Krishna Dvaipayana. So you have to select. You have to select. So when you know all this concept, okay, in the right way, then Patanjali Yoga Sutra is digestible for you. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So you have to select such attachment, maybe an object, maybe a person. Then by reflecting on insights culled from sleep, all the dreams may not be good. And some dreams may be bad. But who sees the Taijasa? Because even I am able to see these dreams, and even the consciousness works there. Okay. So you have to make up the good dreams or the process of Taijasa doing your personality. Then Patanjali says, first 39 Sutra, by meditation as desired. In meditation, he doesn't say that my meditation you have to know. No, he never said. He said that any other meditation you try it. Sometimes it may work. And actually we have to salute Patanjali, a great psychologist, the psychologist of the whole humanity, the humans. And he talked about there are many samabhatis and samadhis, sampratnata samadhi, asampratnata samadhi, and sabija and nirbija samadhi, savitarka, and savijara. There are many stages. What are they? They are the stages of hierarchy of consciousness. Hierarchy of consciousness from lower to higher. And Kaivalya is the last one, just above the Nirbija Samadhi. So that is why the first sutra is for Uttamadhikari. The first, not sutra, the first chapter, because we are unable to understand what is Nirbija Samadhi and that Samadhi. Only the person who has some basic knowledge of Vedas and Sankhya Yoga would be able to understand. Okay. And first pada is for Uttama Adhikari. That is the first meaning of Atha. And Kriya Yoga, that is mentioned in the second chapter, it is for the Madhyama Adhikari. They are not supposed to do Yama and Nema, they have. And for the people like us, Mandadhikari, okay, Athamadhikari, slow. It is Ashtanga Yoga is for us. And all the three are eligible for liberation Kaivalya. But the time is very short for the Uttamadhikari and little more than Uttamadhikari for the Madhyamadhikari, and it takes more time for the Athamadhikari or Mandadhikari. like, and the Ashtanga Yoga. And these are all the practices Patanjali described in his Yoga Sutra to Nirodha, to control the Chitta Vrittis. Okay. Otherwise, what happened? Vrittis arupyamidaratra idara atra. Wherever you go, there will be vrittis. Distractions of the mind. The mind goes on wandering. I am unable to focus anywhere. Okay. And I am very much under stress. It is because of this. Vrittis arupya midaratra. If you are not trying to control the chitta vrittis, then what happens? You will be in the web of, okay, you will be in the entangled in the web of. Actually, the spider is this one flies are that are entangled in the spider's web. So we are entangled in the web of vrittis. So it shows that the thoughts may come back if we stop them mechanically. And other thing, and most of the people think that in some of the book it is written cessation, stopping. No, it is not cessation. The goal of yoga is not stopping the thoughts, as many think. If simply stopping thought is yoga, then a sound sleep and drug is immediate yoga, no doubt. So that is why Patanjali, the next sutra describe, okay, the 5 nature of quality of thoughts which are to be followed and which are avoided. Klishta and Aklishta. Okay, Klishta and Aklishta. So we'll finish out all these 5 words. Then he talks about Vrittaya, Panchataya. These vrittis are of 5 counts. They are Klishta and Aklishta. So we need thoughts. That is why Patanjali said that. So there are 5 kinds of mental modifications. They are either Klishta, obstructing, causing pain, or Aklishta, non-obstructing, not causing pain. One's progress in yoga. Very clear. So we have to discriminate what are the vrittis, good vrittis that's suitable for us. Okay. Then in the most commentaries, we can see that all Klishta vrittis which cause pain be removed. Okay. And that is why Patanjali says that actually the Yoga Sutra or Raja Yoga is for disciplining the mind. It is not directly in the Jnana Yoga, Aham Brahmasmi, no. It says that mind is not an enemy. Mind is not an enemy. It is our friend. And that is why in Amrita Bindu Upanishad it is said, Mana eva manushyanam bandhanam karanam bandha mokshayet. Mind itself is the cause for bondage. And at the same time, mind itself is the cause for liberation. Again, Patanjali said what Patanjali said, it is absolutely true. But he said, yes, it is necessary to control the mental modifications. So the mind is not our enemy. Rather, it is our friend to overcome all Klishta vrittis through Aklishta vrittis. That is what he said. So this is Mana Eva Manushyanam, I talked about it. Then, how the vrittis are formed? Then he says, Pramana, Viparyeya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smritaya. And Pramana is not knowledge again. Pramana is the chief instruments of valid knowledge. And through this instrument of this, there are 3 instruments. The knowledge we get is called Prama. Okay, Pramana is the tools. Then Viparyeya, it is wrong knowledge, distorted cognition, perception. And Vikalpa, imaginary knowledge based on verbal knowledge. Then Nidra is sleep and Smriti are memory. And these are all the sources of Chitta vrittis. And these Chitta vrittis they produce maybe Klishta and maybe Aklishta. And when we talk about Pramana, and this is the epistemology, I already talked in the first class. There are 3 characteristics of philosophy. First is the epistemology, the theory of knowledge. And Patanjali talks about the theory of knowledge. And second is the metaphysics, the theory of reality, and that is Drishta. Who am I? I am the Drishta. And third is the axiology, the theory of values and ethics and morals. What are they? They are the Yama and Nayama in Patanjala Yoga Sutra. See, so there is no doubt Patanjala Yoga Sutra is a Shastra. No doubt. Nobody can deny that. The epistemology, the theory of knowledge, he says that Pratyaksham, Anumanam, Agamam. These are the three. Pramanai. These are the three instruments, tools for knowledge. And Pramanam. Okay. Pratyaksha Pramanam, direct perception. If you are seeing a mobile, yes, you know that it is a mobile through the Indriyas. And Anumana says that it is a Samsung mobile and the other iPhone may also be like this. Okay, you are Anumana, you are making an inference, even though you have not seen that. Okay, it is a practical example I am saying to you. That Agama may be Klishta and Agama may be Aklishta. And Anumana inference may be Klishta and may be Aklishta. That is what he said. Even the Pratyaksha, the direct perception, may be Klishta and Aklishta. We have to recognize it, we have to discriminate it. So Agama means the words or the Shabda that is available in the Vedas and the Upanishads. For example, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, this is good. And some trustworthy people also. Okay, fine. So here, the direct perception, direct perception. The direct perception is only possible when the Atma or the self provides consciousness to the Chitta. Okay, mind is a form of the mind, the Chitta makes up the mind. Okay, I already told you that Chitta composed of Manas, Buddhi, Ahangar. So the mind itself in the Chitta. Okay, only when the self, the illuminations, when it is illuminated or gives consciousness to the mind sees and enjoy everything through the Jnanendriyas. And without Jnanendriya, mind is helpless. Mind cannot work. Okay, so we see many things, we hear many things, we touch many things. There are many things. And inference is, Anumana means inference. Inference. It is an indirect knowledge. When perception is a direct knowledge and it is an indirect knowledge. And there are three types of Anumana in Nyaya. So here we should know the two types of Anumana. One is Purvavat. Purvavat means inferring an unperceived effect. Unperceived, you have not seen from a perceived cause. For example, on seeing clouds, you have not seen the water. Okay, the rain. You infer there may be rain, or it is going to rain. This is the Purvavat Anumana. And Sheshavat means cause and effect, inferring an unperceived cause from a perceived effect. Means the river is flooded. There is a lot of water in the river. Then when we infer that there had been rainfall. Okay. So many things happens in our day-to-day life. Love makes attachment. Okay. And even some attachments make angry. Many things. Okay. So Shabda Pramana means verbal testimony. It is Satyam Vada Dharmanchara, love our neighbor's Bible, guide us to the straight path, Quran. All good things, good Shabdas are available in all the scriptures. It is not limited to the Hindu scriptures and mythology. Then next is Viparya, wrong knowledge, misconception, distorted perception. Okay, Viparya, wrong knowledge. Seeing something is what it is not. Okay, my nature is actually the Purusha, the consciousness, but I mistake myself, my mind is very great. This is one of the simplest example. Okay, then Vikalpa, and Vikalpa means it is also a wrong knowledge, misconception based upon the sound. You may hear some sound and your perception may be wrong. So a very great example for in the Mahabharata, Ashwatthama dead. Ashwatthama was an elephant and Dronacharya thought that my son Ashwatthama dead. So there are many things in our life that. So I used to say a very good story. So in a house, one dog is there, one son is there, and her husband is away in the foreign countries. And the son's name is Tony, and the dog's name is also Tony. Okay, and they love Tony very much, as they love her son also. And one day, what happened? The Tony dog becomes very sick, and the Tony dead. And she was very much upset. Then she immediately called her husband and started to cry. Then he asked, "Why are you crying? Why are you crying?" And then, "What for? We are leaving husband. Everything is gone. Our Tony is gone away." Immediately, the father becomes faint. Actually, the Tony, the real son, was not dead. So the dog dead. So please don't give same name for dog and son. Okay, this is one of the best example. So this is Vikalpa. Okay, and Nidra is actually not a vritti. In anywhere in the any scriptures you can see Nidra is not a vritti, but Patanjali included Nidra as a vritti because there are, so in the Vyasa Bhashya, the commentary, the best commentary is written by Vyasa, Yoga Bhashya. So he said that there are 3 types of Nidras: Sattvic Nidra, Rajasic Nidra, and Tamasic Nidra. Sattvic Nidra is okay, very good. So even then, I had slept well, my happy mind brightens my intellect, etc. Rajasic Nidra means I have a bad sleep, my mind was wandering, And Tamasic Nidra means I slept without any awareness, no awareness. And when you get up, you feel that my body limbs are very happy, my mind was tired, nothing is entering into my mind. So here the Rajasic and the Tamasic Nidras are Purtis, no doubt. Then Smriti, you all know what is Smriti. Okay. The leaves of memory rustle in the dark. I have somewhere read it in a novel. The leaves of memory rustle in the dark. Rustle means they move. So memory may be good or may be bad. So memory is a great source of Chittavritti, no doubt. And we have to make up most of the memory as good one, so that you would be able to control the Chittavrittis. Okay. Okay, fine. So today we will stop here. So anybody has any significant question, they may ask to me.
Sir, Sadan here. Sir, and positive and negative, it will come continuously, right, sir?
Past and
Positive and negative.
yes, it thinks good and bad things happens.
Yes.
And that is why Patanjali said that even our thoughts are good one and bad one. So we have to discriminate which are the good one and the bad ones. For that you have to practice Patanjali Yoga Sutra.
Okay. But sometimes, yeah, sometimes opposite people have a more negative energy.
Yes.
That time we are not able to manage.
Yes, it happens. It happens.
Okay, sir.
Menon sir on the line. Menon sir?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay. And I am very glad to see Menon sir. You all can see Menon sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Menon sir. Sir, you please enlarge your screen, sir.
What for?
To introduce you. Okay, and he is B.S. Menon, and he is running yoga center for the last decades. And he is an authoritative resource person for conducting all the level 1, level 2, level 3 and master courses. And you will get a certificate from there. And they are written books also. and we have a good tie-up and friendship. So especially we and I are very glad to see your presence today, sir. Menon, sir.
I'll talk about a little synopsis of the book. The book has been published recently,
Yes,
and as per the syllabus, the like that all the chapters are written not as per the books but as per the syllabus, because the concept and etymology of yoga is already mentioned very soon. So unit wise you get all the answers. I'll put this flyer on the group of Padmanabhan sir and just send
yes,
it.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
my
yes,
class is going on for level 1, level 2, and level 3.
yes, yes.
I have completed YCB therapy course and YCB master also.
So I think that if I talk in this way, definitely they can write any answer, any question that you are going to ask from Patanjala Sutra. But I discussed it, each and everything is very clear. So I hope that, thank you very much, sir. I hope that you understood the word, the deep meaning of yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Okay. And the sources of knowledge, the instruments for knowledge is called pramana. Okay, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agama, Pramana, and the 5 vrittis. So don't think that mind is, some of the book, it is a cessation of the thought. Thoughts cannot be cessation. It is very, you should not stop the thoughts, then we cannot think very creatively. And I don't want to say in which book they are written. So Patanjali says that you need thought, and that should not cause any pain to you. That is why he particularly mentioned Klishta and Aklishta. So this Vidya, Sri Vidya coordinator.
That's my share.
So I hope that you have already given this talk to YouTube. In YouTube also you can see this. And since it is a free online class, somebody has asked the notes. So no, don't wait for notes. Go on hearing. Go on hearing. Okay, each and every. And when you understand the concept, you can introspect yourself. Why I am thinking like this, and from where this vasana I got. Okay, and how I can remove it. Okay, and that is why I told you our mind thinks in the forms and images, and because mind has no form, it is like water. Water takes form when you pour water in a vessel. So there are many forms that may be good, that may be bad. So to remove that bad forms, bad symbols, etc., our Kundalini Yoga, all the chakras, yantras, the colors, the mantras, even the Pranayama practices, and the 11 practices Patanjali mentioned in the Yoga Sutra, including Chitta Prasada. So, anybody has any doubt? You can. I can see. Thank you, sir. Thank you, and yes, sir. No, sir. These are all the 2 common words people are using. Okay. So instead of that, you can, the new people, and I think that from this Tamil Nadu Sports University, so don't worry, even you can ask in Tamil, so I can answer in Tamil also. The purpose is nothing to make all of you to understand what Yoga Sutra is. And that is, I made it free. So it is very, very, very necessary to understand Yoga Sutra. Okay. And suppose you are unable to practice Yama and Niyama, so don't worry. You go for practicing what? Hatha Yoga. And what Hatha Yoga says? Hatha Yoga says that the mind, the controlling the mind is very difficult, even through the psychological techniques. And how the mind can be controlled? The mind is very much related with the breath. And it is very, very simple. And that is why when we become angry, the breath becomes fast. So you must know some procedure so that the breath can be controlled. And that is what we call pranayama. And when the intensity of anger increases, then what happens? All the muscles of the bodies are very much contracted. So they must be relaxed. They must be stressed. And that process is called pranayama. And this is asanas. By disciplining the body and controlling the breath, definitely with midahara, definitely it is possible to control the mind. When you would be able to control the mind, Swatmarama says that Kevalam Raja Yogaya Hata Yoga Vidya Upadishyate. So I instructed this yoga and not for making some gymnastic asanas and all like that people are doing nowadays. It is for understanding yourself. Now the time has come up to go and practice Ashtanga Yoga or Raja Yoga. Then he says that Hatam Vina Raja Yoga. Without Hatha Yoga, there is no Raja Yoga. And Raja Yoga Vina Hatam. Very great. Okay, ji. Dhanyavad. So any new participants join from out of the state? Tamil Nadu is there, Andhra, and any North India. You can ask in Hindi also, and as well as in Tamil. If any difficulty that you feel, how can express my doubt in English, don't worry. Or you can post it in the group. Right? யாருமே ஒண்ணுமே பேசவே இல்லையே, என்னது என்னாச்சு சரவணா?
Sir, now we discussed, so we are focused on our breathing, mind will get concentrate quickly.
Yes.
Every asanas we have to concentrate breathing, and pranayama also we have to concentrate breathing. So suddenly our mind will get concentrated.
Yes.
Got it, sir.
Varga.
I am also following those things, but now I got it.
बहुत धन्यवाद.
Yes, sir. You are yes, sir.
I am reading the comments. So any doubt, you don't worry. I am always at your disposal. So you have to understand Patanjala Yoga Sutra rightly. So with the permission of all the participants today, so we go for the next class. And next class is the classes are very much progressing. So it is very necessary to understand the different levels of consciousness. Okay, that also will be discussed very easily so that you will be able to understand what are they. Okay, so let us conclude the class today, right? Yes. So you please close your eyes, chant the Shanti mantras. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Sandhu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Hari Om. Okay.
धन्यवाद सर.
धन्यवाद. Okay.
Shubharatri, sir.
Shubharatri. Okay, thank you.
Good night, sir. Pranam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.